Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So before we jump into this one, I hope all of you folks caught the XNO video, because as much as these sort of things are a little bit unrealistic, we have to look at the historical data and what really points to these weird kind of breakouts. And for me, I've seen different things happen that revolve around Elon Musk and him doing certain things, releasing certain things, and in effect, other things run up in price. So if you did catch that, fair play to you. If that's not a reason to subscribe here, I don't know what is. And we'll be covering more cryptos like that and just throwing in the odd video of what possibly could be going upwards in the future. But everything's really looking quite good. We're still in that greedy stage. As we can see, we've got now, yesterday, last week, and last month all looking at greedy. This is really, really good. But at the same time, there's that whole sort of cynical saying of be wary when, but I don't believe in that, because a lot of the times, right, if you look at the technical gauges of things, it'll always tell you to buy something probably when you shouldn't buy it, and when you should buy it, it's telling you to sell it. So it's really weird, and you should always judge things on circumstantial evidence of what's going on right now, because we're running into this BTC halving. This real special event is quite substantial, and at some point that's truly going to begin, and we're truly going to start to see these greater bull runs happen. So there's a lot of articles out there that are explaining about why Terra Classic price is going to explode, or could explode 38%. I personally think it's going to move a lot more than that, but circumstances, right? Speaking about circumstances, and really what is circumstantial to our price movement right now, and it's user retention. We're getting all of these new users coming on board, but they need guides, they need tutorials, they need all of these different things. But most importantly, we need to learn how to retain users as a community and as a blockchain, and we don't do a good job of that. And honestly, if we want to see more price movements upwards, I think people need to start to understand what actually being a validator is all about. If we end up with this same validating base that we've consistently had for a long time now, where it's split between two sort of parties, the old guard and the new guard. The old guard are validating the chain, and they're the ones that are getting most of the delegations. They're getting most of the support. They're not building anything here, but they're building everything over on Luna. They're validating Luna, and it's a real sad story. And with that kind of situation, that's what lends credence to the circumstantial evidence that user retention's quite bad here on our blockchain. But anything can happen, right? And what we're looking for is a bulge. We'll be getting onto this shortly. I just want to realistically give a little bit more input as to my perspective on this validating situation. We've supposedly had a lot of new validators come on board, but that's just not the case, because we introduced the DCM in order to decentralize the active set more and to bring on more validators and give more validators a fighting chance. And what we've actually seen is a very greed-based movement, as to which it's reduced the active set from 130 down to 100. And this is a really bad sort of situation that greed leads to. And you'll get all of these new people on board that are realizing, oh, hey, you don't actually earn that much money validating, and the coins aren't worth as much as they should be. And they're thinking, how can we quickly earn more money? Well, we can do this by reducing the active set. So it was a real greed-based incentive, which done the total opposite of what months and months of work have gone into to not have happen. Otherwise, we would have just done that to begin with, right? If we want to decentralize, that was the shortcut route for a quick fix that would really just lead us to a worse place as it stands. So with this whole old guard, new guard, with the new guard, right, we need validators that are going to be building, developing tools. And I'm not talking about like a website, right? I'm not talking about sitting there on Twitter and tweeting, I'm a validator and I support the chain and I'm validating the chain. Well, we've been doing this almost 2 years now, and I've just never seen anything produced for the chain from any validators, aside from a very select amount. We always see the third-party option happen, where you'll see a DEX spin up, or you'll see an NFT market spin up, and it's something that's always built outside of the chain. And it really sucks, because if we continue to have this same kind of greed-based behavior, the funding's not going to the validators it should be going to. the old guard are prospering more than anybody and they're not building anything here. It's at what point is anything being built? There's people saying, we've got all of these new validators come on board. We've reduced the active set. So in fact, we've lost validators. We've removed more chances for new people to come on board. And honestly, it sends a poor signal out to anyone who wants to join in the future. But I think validating's treated like a bit of a joke, that you don't need to do anything. You can simply validate in the chain and we're all going to go to the moon. And it's not like that. We need everybody to do exactly what we've done here. Build auto compound modules. Not that I'm saying go and build one, go and build something different. I'm just simply laying out what I've built and what I've developed and what I've worked on is all of these different systems, and everything I've done has always been for the community or for the NFT project that I created. And there's never ever been a situation where I've prospered from anything. It's always been for the chain. That's why any of the validators that you normally use have access to a free auto compound module that you don't actually have to pay anything for. If we had more validators like this, we would have a far greater chance of this whole idea around user retention, because like I said, they need tools, they need games to play. So shout out to anybody that is developing games, is developing metaverses and stuff like that. But this is all real stuff that you need to pay attention to as someone who's invested in the LUNC community, because if, for example, you're delegating with all of the old guard and all of the old guards are the ones that are really benefiting, how can you expect anything to happen from the chain? How can you expect any validator that's really getting shut down and shut out to continue doing what they're doing? It just doesn't work out. And that's why all of these real bigger old guard validators have got so powerful and so strong, because they treat it like a business. And because they're at the top, they remain at the top. And now I'm seeing different proposals coming up of wanting to put the active set back to 130. People are saying they want to take more delegations from the top 10. And it all comes down to this thing, right? We shouldn't have had to introduce a DCM. What should have happened is all of those top validators should have simply said to themselves, we're taking the absolute fucking piss here. And what we should actually do is all set our commissions to the highest possible that we can until our voting power comes down to a reasonable level. But you didn't see that happen, right? And this is the whole circumstantial situation that's playing out. Now, with all of this being said, there is a pattern playing out here. You can see this. And what I want to do before we actually get into this area here, I want to come down to this area here. And we can see a very similar flag playing out off of the pole, coming down, tracking sideways, and all of a sudden what will happen is you'll get a candle, and it's normally like a doji dragonfly, something like that, that gives you a possible sign of a confirm of a breakout. And what you'll want to see is a bulge, and then possibly a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that would really confirm this kind of breakout. So what we want to see, like I was just saying, and showing you some historical evidence which really led to this, and we called this on the channel. Go back, look at my previous videos. I think it was like the power of the dragonfly doji or something like that, and we actually predicted this breakout and this whole movement moving forward. So what we want to see is around, I think this area is another bulge, maybe some sort of candle to confirm the breakout. And what I'm hoping for is getting up to this let's call it 30,000 points per coin, for my dumb sake. I think this is a good target for us right now to get up to here, hold this for a little bit and track sideways, because everything's sort of untrodden territory. And the reason why I'm saying this is if we go to the daily and we look at this area here where we did hold a very substantial higher area, it didn't hold for long and it came down to this area. So what I'm saying is this area up here, it's untrodden territory, and we don't want to go shooting upwards like this to come shooting back downwards. If we have these very crucial points of where we're holding on, we're tracking sideways, we're not getting too ahead of ourselves, it's probably going to pay off for us in the long run. But we got to start to get better validators. We've got to start to learn to support the right people on this blockchain, because anybody can work on this blockchain, right? You've got Six Samurai, you've got all of these people who complain about not being allowed to develop. Hey, anybody can develop, right? You've seen that from us. You can look at the historical evidence of us producing a DCM, putting it forward, getting it merged, and you're developing on the blockchain, right? And it's all because everybody's just full of crap at this point, and I've been in this so long now, I just see through so many people, and you're either here for self-gain, you're here to destroy the chain, or you're here to try and push the chain forward. And there's only a very select few people that are trying to push this chain forward. And like I've been saying recently, right, I work full-time outside of this, and as time goes on, I'm having less and less time, because what should be happening is, long pause, we should be earning more, if that makes sense. So what should be actually happening is we should be toning down the in real life work and actually putting more into LUNC. But I just can't do that because I'm not getting the support that I should get. And it's all good, everybody sort of going, oh, you know, well done HCC, here's a pat on the back. It doesn't pay my bills at the end of the month. And this is something that's going to become more and more aware as time goes on, that LUNC needs real builders, and when they find these sort of builders and developers, they need to ensure that they retain them, because there's not many of us left at this point, and there's only so much damage this chain can take before it does start to collapse. And the reason why I'm sort of saying this at the end of the more long formatted video is there's a weird storm coming for the Terra ecosystem, and it's going to be from the SEC. If you go and you look at my previous video this week about DK and everything like that, it's being extended, I think, like 2 more months or 30 days or 60 days, so they can decide which country is going to get him, the US or South Korea. And this is going to be very circumstantial to everything that's going on at the moment. And there might come a time, and this is all just theory, I'm just putting this out there and I'm just sort of getting everybody in the same mindset that I'm on, there might become a time when there's a fork in the road and we're going to have to decide, are we part of the Terra ecosystem that collapsed, or are we LUNC, a freestanding sort of situation? Because let's say, for example, the SEC, for whatever crazy reason, just says you've got to delist USTC off all of the major exchanges. It's got to go off all exchanges. We just don't know. And the craziest thing right now is everything that's happened with SBF, them dragging his friends up. It just goes to show that no one's outside this realm of being able to be gotten if you've not been doing something the way you should have been doing it, if you've sort of been naughty. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out, and to see if we're going to get any validators that actually produce anything other than sort of squabbling over who's going to create a website. I think there's like 10 websites being created. At this point, I just stand on the point of, we don't actually need a website as a blockchain. Everybody can develop their own websites, and then that way everything just remains decentralized as it can be. Everybody has their own inputs and outputs. So be it. We've done this well without a website, and I just don't see why we'd need a website at this point. It just seems like something to sort of get everybody to worry about. It's kind of weird. Folks, I'm hoping to see this bulge. I'm hoping to see this breakout. Regardless of everything I've been saying here, I am bullish on this sort of price pattern that is playing out here, because if we look at XRP, we can see a failure to break out here, holding here, and then coming back down and sort of cooking at the moment. So like I said at the beginning of the video, I hope you caught the XNO news. If you didn't, subscribe here, hit the notifications bell, drop a like, drop a comment, and keep yourself informed, and maybe you'll catch a nice sweet 80% gain in the future. Stay safe, stay humble, stay aware, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one.